Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, I see this in the comments, right, on Twitter and so forth. They're like, yo, Vlad, how come all the black gangsters you interview, end up doing 20, 30 years? Probably these white mafia guys got like 3-4 murders and they don't do any jail time. This is a racist system. And I'm like, no, this is not, well, number one, yes, it is a racist system. But in this particular case, there's a very simple explanation for this. The mafia guys I interviewed usually cooperate. Some of these guys would take the stand 6, 7, 10 times in different trials against mafia bosses and so forth. This is why they get out doing 12 days in jail for 2 murders. This is why. And the guy over here, who does 20 years, kept his mouth shut. But that's why he did the 20 years.
Yes.
The system is designed for you to cooperate and get time removed. If you want to do this street code thing and keep your mouth shut and say, well, I stood tall, go ahead and lose a third of your life in prison. And that's what you get for that.
And what people don't understand, Vlad, when you watch these documentaries about the mobs in New York, they all snitched on each other.
Yeah. Even the one guy who was really known for never snitching, Carmine the Snake Persico,
yes,
one of the mafia bosses, recently came out that he was an informant.
Yes. And
years later.
And that's the myth in the community. Oh, you got to be a stand-up guy. Everybody. There's no honor amongst thieves.
Yes.
And here's the thing. If you got a co-defendant and they separate you and they put your boy in one room and you go in a room, I want you to say to the detective first, come to my room first. Because once they go in the other room and they offer the other person the deal first, whoever get the deal first is the one. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm as a street and educated guy, I wouldn't tell anybody to snitch but where I sit now, I wouldn't put myself in a position to go to prison that I would have to snitch on someone or someone to snitch on me. Mm-hmm. Because we live in what we call a hypocritical world. They'll say that you're a snitch, but if you caught a case, you'll be the first person to snitch and walk out.
Yeah, and a lot of times, man, this whole no snitching code is really designed for the bosses to stay out of prison. Mm-hmm. They tell all the guys underneath them, don't snitch, do your jail time. Don't snitch, do your jail time, And then when the bosses get caught, they'll tell on everybody.
Yep.
A lot of the time. Not every time, but a lot of the time.
A lot of time.
And let's just say you don't snitch, right? Let's just say you hold firm. These guys that I've interviewed that have done 20, 25, 30 years, they come out and the story is always the same. There's nothing waiting for them.
Nothing.
All the money they put in other people's names have been spent by that time. Yep. The properties they put in other people's names are going to stay in those other people's names, and you're not getting those back. And then there's nothing you could do about it.
Nothing you could do about it.
You have to start your life over as a 50-year-old man with a felony, a serious felony.
Serious felony.
On their record with a small little skill set.
Yes.
Trying to figure out how to get through life. With a strained relationship with the family. You don't really know your kids. You were not around to raise them.
Right.
So they're going to be upset to a certain degree.
Absolutely.
Your woman has probably moved on by that time. You're sitting here 40, 50, 60 years old trying to figure out how to live out the rest of your life.
And we're saying this to people because when me and Vlad get on here, y'all come up to me, y'all talk about how me and Vlad really be dropping knowledge and game. And we will do this until the end of time. This is about not going to jail.